Alright guys, this lecture has been remarkably annoying. The feature that used to work perfectly has begun to work not so perfectly in the newest version. Let's see if I can demonstrate what it's not doing. See, what it's supposed to be doing here is the letters are supposed to fade in, right? Just like this T is coming, or this T right here is supposed to go like that and then get brighter and brighter and brighter. You know, it's supposed to fade in gradually. Well, I would do about 7 of them, and maybe 2 or 3 of them would fade in and the others would just appear instantly, no matter what, even though that they were configured identically. And probably as a co-symptom, when I would run it, then it would display an error message. I don't know if I can get that error message to show up now. See here, this error message? Right? And so these things are supposed to be coming in, fading in. Can't say that they are. Right? That G is supposed to be fading out, but instead it's not. Right? It's just zooming in and out. You never see it fade. So anyways, figured out how to do it, I believe. I'm going to run through it one more time. I'll have to modify the instructions to match. So I'm making a new document, and then I'm going to write a word. I should change my word. Groovy hasn't been having much luck. How about coolness? All right, I'm going to shrink that down a little bit, right, with the free transform tool. Whatever, right? That'll be nice and hard to read. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into individual letters, and I'm going to send each letter to its own timeline. We've done stuff like that before. Then I'm going to create a timeline that looks like this, to where we have these tweens for when the letters are invisible and they become visible. And if we want, then we can make them become invisible again, right? Not shown here, but we can do that, right? Invisible to visible, back to invisible, something like that. So rather than follow the instructions step by step, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of wing it. And if you've read the instructions before I do this, or you watch this and then read the instructions, either way should work. I've run through this about 4 times, so I ought to be pretty fast at it. Okay, so what am I going to do? I want things to just hang out for a while with nothing to do. So I'm not going to insert any keyframes until, I don't know. Well, my instruction show is starting at 5 and 10 and 15 and 20. So I'll go ahead and do that. But let's break this apart. So I select my text with the black cursor and choose break apart. And then modify timeline, distribute to layers. And I would like for these layers to be in order, right? And right now they're not. C is at the bottom, O is there, O is there, L is there, and so on. I'm going to reverse them, right? So C is up at the top, and then an O, and then another O, and then an L, right? And an N, and an E, and then one of the S's, and then the other S, and then the exclamation mark, which it's for some reason rendering as an underscore. All right, I don't even need layer 1, right? Doesn't have anything on it now. If I hide it and unhide it with the eyeball, doesn't do anything, so I'm going to select it and delete it. All right, so every 5 keyframes, or every 5 frames, I'm going to insert a keyframe. And of course, you can do them one at a time. Just select 5 on the top one and hit insert keyframe. Select 10 on the next one and insert keyframe. Or you can select several of them at the same time, right? You click on that one and then holding the control key or the command key, whichever you got on your computer, Mac, it's command, right? Do that. And then insert, right click and do insert keyframes all at once. Boom. I don't got to do it that way, right? You could just do them one at a time. It hardly takes any extra time to do that. And one last one for the last letter. Insert keyframe. Now I'm going to remove all of the letters here, right? I don't need this column of keyframes anymore. So I'm going to select the top keyframe on layer 1, right? Frame 1, layer 1 keyframe, and then holding the shift key down, select the bottom one so that the whole column is selected, and then just hit the backspace key, the delete key, and now the keyframes are gone. And now the letters appear one at a time. Right? Now they disappear immediately, but that's just because the frame's in, right? If I go and add a stack of frames at the very end of all this, then, you know, they'll be okay. And I can prove that. Let's come out here and look. Right, so like on frame 60 or somewhere at the end. Maybe I'll make it 80, 90, 100, who knows, 80 ought to be enough. So I'm going to click on the top one, shift click on the bottom one, that selects the whole range, and insert a frame. Maybe I should have inserted keyframes. Yeah, insert keyframes. All right, so right now they hang out, right? They appear, and then they, you know, eventually it'll come around and loop. But we want them to fade in, right? And we want to fade them in at, at staggered intervals. So we need to make a second stair step of keyframes, like this, right? 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, something like that. I'll start it at 35 rather than 25 like the text suggests. So insert a keyframe there, 25 or 35, excuse me, and holding the command key down, I'm going to, select. It's kind of hard to see that blue against the black and the dark gray. Oh wow. Right click and insert keyframes in all those locations. Well, that didn't work. Okay, fine. Undo all that. I'll just do it one at a time. All right, that didn't leave much room for them to hang out here at the very end. So I'm going to click and release, click and drag, and pull that keyframe over, and do that for each one of these. Click and release, click and drag, click and release, click and drag, click and release, click and drag, click and release, click, drag, click, release, click, drag, click, release, click, drag, click, release, click, drag, and one more time. All right. So how do I get them to appear out of nothing? Well, I'm going to put classic tweens on each one of these. It's going to give me a warning message, and I need to go ahead and click OK. We've seen that plenty of times before, right? Classic tweens just like that. I could just click Don't Show Again, maybe, but I'm not going to bother. All right, let's see if it's already broken, the problems I was saying earlier, previously. I'm going to hit Command Return, Control Enter on your PC. All right, I'm not getting the error messages I was getting. And they're not fading in, of course. How am I going to get them to fade in? I'm going to select the first frame where the letter appears and change its color effect, right? So under Properties, and if you can't find Properties, you know how to get to it, Window Properties. Come and find the color effects, and under Alpha, or excuse me, under the little pull down here, choose Alpha. And dial the alpha down to 0, right? Right now could start it off at 100, could start it off at 0. And there's a way to get the alpha to negative 100%, and I have no idea how to do what purpose that would solve. You can come in here and choose advanced, and set the alpha even lower. I don't know why I would want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave the alpha at 0. So with the alpha starting at 0 and then hitting 100%, right, it fades in. There are other settings too under color effects, right? You could pick the first frame, and if you wanted it to change colors as you moved in, you know, color effects, choose tint. Want it to change colors as it comes in, or I don't know, you know, mess with these. Really can't seem to make it do much good. Okay, yeah, that nasty olive color turning purple as it fades in. Not sure the advantage of that, but okay, so when it comes in, it starts off. Maybe that was a real bad idea. That doesn't look good. I'm going to undo that completely. All right, now correct me if I'm wrong, but is it not fading in? Is it just appearing? That's the problem I've been running into the whole time. That when you publish it, it doesn't work. I'm undoing all the steps until the alpha is gone. I'm going to try it once more. Color effects, alpha, 0, test it. Okay, it worked, right? I saw it work. Good deal. I'm going to do that for every one of these keyframes. The O is being introduced here. Change his color effect. Alpha, 0. Let's test him out. I'm getting paranoid. I'm going to do them one at a time. Okay, they're working, right? If we want to fade them in more slowly, we could give them more time, right? Let's, I'm going to get brave and do several at once now, right? Not advanced. Alpha, there, right? Just keep doing that. Alpha, 0%. Alpha, 0%. Okay. They're working. Lo and behold, this is the first time it's worked perfectly. I was trying things like converting them to movie clips before they faded in, or I've tried a lot of things. I don't know why this is working. I don't know if it's a bug only on the Mac version, or if it's a problem on all versions of 2019 or whatever we're running now. I did not mean to click update. I wanted to do an about. Well, version 20. Does that mean I'm running CC 2020? Yeah. Anyways, something's buggy. Don't know what. Alrighty, so here, do the same thing. Color effects, not advanced. Alpha, 0. 3 more to go. All right. Okay. So now they're all going to fade in. And if you want it to not loop like it's looping now, right? I'm just staring at it, contemplating. Is that C popping into place a lot more quickly than the other ones? I don't know. We could come up here and kind of stagger these a little bit more. Change the rate at which they appear to come in. I don't know, that's not too cool. Undo all that. Maybe at least if the C starts at 0, I mean frame 1 rather than the others, it'll look like it fades in more slowly. Yeah, I kind of like that, I guess. Okay, and so they just disappear all at once. We could make them fade back out if we so chose, right? Because we have some more keyframes here at the end. I could reverse all the steps that we've already done. Now, do we want them to fade out in a staggered staircase, jagged effect like that? Or do we just want them to all slowly fade and disappear at the same time? I'm voting for disappear all at the same time. I wonder if I could select all of these frames and shift click them and then set the alpha, all of them at once. So I just selected the top one. I shift clicked the bottom one, clicked it, and then choose alpha, set them to 0. I probably maybe should have done the classic tweens first. All right, let's see how badly that messed up. So yeah, the C is fading out, but is it really fading out? The proof is always when I actually play it. Okay, it faded out. It didn't break it. So lo and behold, I'm going to add keyframes, not keyframes, classic tweens to the rest of these. I'm going to shift click. I'm going to click on that one and shift click on the bottom one to select an entire column and then apply classic tween to all of them. Save some time. All right, let's see how well that works. They all appear, they hang out for a while, and then they fade. All right, I'm kind of liking it. The things that I played with previously were like putting drop shadows on them. But I was able to add drop shadows and things on them because... Oh wait, now it's offering me the option. So for filters, you know, I could try adding a drop shadow onto that C as it comes in, but the drop shadow will disappear at the next point because I forgot to add the drop shadows to begin with. So if I really wanted to do this, I'd have to add a drop shadow to each and every keyframe. That's kind of tedious. I don't really know if it's worth it. I can probably say with some fair degree of certainty that it's not worth it. Might have been fun to do so beforehand. So anyways, now as they fade in, they've got a drop shadow which makes them look really nice and sharp. But then the rest of them don't. As a matter of fact, those O's don't seem to anyways. Forget it. Undo all those drop shadows. All right. Cool beans. And that is the assignment, right? All right, that's enough. Save it. Do a save as, and then save it, you know, as a export it by hitting, you know, Control, Enter, Command, Return, whatever, and give me the SWF or whatever files you want to upload.